flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is?
I don't know where it's broadcasting.
I just noticed the wire's not hanging out of the
The green
ceiling
light is
anymore.
on.
The green light is on. Oh,
There's a green light
well,
on.
we're waiting for the green light. It's being broadcast somewhere. We don't know where.
Still over.
So somebody's watching.
Yeah.
Big
Big
brother.
brother, whoever that is. I have my opinion on who that might be, but I'm keeping caution.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the special meeting on November 13th, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool? Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting on November 17th, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Abstain. I wasn't here for that one, right?
Right. That's what it says.
I was in sunny, not so sunny Arizona. Snowing, cold.
You brought that weather back.
It wasn't the Arizona that I thought it was going to be.
Financials today include a revenue certification for the juvenile court CASA fund for increased grant funding, appropriation transfer for the juvenile probate court, county police court, sheriff's office, auditor's office, and the board of elections. Supplemental appropriations for community and economic development, the Department of Job and Family Services, probate court, common police court, clerk of courts, auditor's office, the county home and the building improvement fund. These are all year-end things that people are moving. Cash transfer for the general fund for the second quarter, state fiscal year 16 funding for Family First Council. Purchase order for Preston Ford for the purchase of a 2016 Ford Escape for the building department in the amount of $22,190.50. Travel request for the juvenile court and the maintenance department. Payment to GPD Associates for engineering services for the JFS parking lot for the maintenance department in the amount of $15,040. Payment to Hammer Check Communications for an electronic media public service announcement for the probate court in the amount of $5,500. Payment to Johnson Controls for the McFarland wastewater treatment plant upgrade project for the Department of Water Resources in the amount of $838,434.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
And the subbing for department.
I'm Jessica this morning. It won't be as cool, but.
Did something with your hair.
It all turned white overnight. The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and execute an elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation memorandum of understanding with JFS. My understanding of this is that it's something that we've been doing right along. It just formalizes and sets procedures for how this is done. Department on Aging has always been kind of watching out for the seniors. Once again, Craig informs me that the prosecutor looked at this, and obviously they're on board. And I think you said law enforcement looked at it as well. So yeah, again, it's just a formalization of a process and procedure that was already being followed.
What's the connection between JFS and the Department of Aging on this?
JFS has responsibility for taking care of people in those kind of situations, and a Department on Aging can sort of serve as eyes and ears. Is that not the case?
Yes, the state is really pushing, advancing adult protective services going forward. It's a mantra that we're hearing actually pretty much across the nation. And what this does is sort of sets parameters on how to respond to situations that arise where there are referrals of abuse, neglect, exploitation of our seniors in our community. And it sort of joins as an MOU and a partnership among those first responders and those that also have the ability to have eyes and ears out there to report those situations, and how, once they're reported, how we will partner up and respond to these situations. So the MOU has not existed like this in the county, but I think it really just joins us more and connects us more in our responsibilities.
The Department on Aging is requesting the board approve and execute the elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation memorandum of understanding with the Geauga County Department of Job and Family Services to formalize local protocols for adult protective services.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Clickwell?
Thanks, Linda.
This is an amended resolution. You previously had done one, and due to the levies that passed.
Oh, yes, okay.
Sent us
Yeah.
a amended resolution that they requested be approved.
What is this for?
This is a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. It was amended due to the two levies that passed.
Didn't you read something?
The auditor's office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 15-168, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. Amended.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Clickwell?
Aye.
Come on down.
Morning, Joey.
Morning,
Good
John.
morning, how are you?
Good.
This is just the last piece of work being done in the allocation grant for this year, and it's work at the county when we're replacing the kitchen floor with a non-slip type of kitchen floor. They've had some accidents.
Well, it takes all the fun away, right?
Can you say
It's either
PWC?
that or give
That's
my
not funny.
skills.
6, 7, and 8 go together.
Your call.
6 and 8, you, just you, 7 and 8. The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the notice of award to Millstone Management Group for the rehabilitation of the Geauga County Pleasant Home kitchen flooring and back hallway in the amount of $27,056 under grant BF 141AZ1. The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and execute the contract agreement with Millstone Management Group for the rehabilitation of the Geauga County Pleasant Home kitchen flooring and back hallway in the amount of $27,056 under grant BF 141AZ1. The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the notice to proceed for Millstone Management Group for the rehabilitation of the Geauga County Pleasant Home kitchen flooring and back hallway in the amount of $27,056 under grant BF 141AZ1.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Abstain.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Clickwell?
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Bye-bye now.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
How are you?
So, well, first of all, I just want to thank everyone, on the board, and also the Geauga County residents for the support that was shown, this fall with the additional levy. That was huge, and has really, set our mind, at ease going forward. It was a lot of work, but I just want to formally again thank you, the board, for the support, the office and the community. So, with that being said, I wish this could have said renewal right in the language here, but I'm here to talk about the standard operating levy that has been in existence was originally put on the ballot in 2004, approved then, and was replaced in 2010, and that is up for renewal, this coming year, this upcoming
It
2016.
was renewed in 10, right?
It was replaced with the property values in 10, which changed it.
Okay.
I think $1 or a couple dollars with the property values.
Okay.
But this is renewing the existing operating levy that has been in place originally since 2004 when it was on the ballot. This is what, when we did the additional this fall, this is what the additional was in addition to. So I just want to be very clear, this is not a new tax. And actually, so nobody's tax bills would be changing with the approval of this renewal levy. And actually, this levy contains the 2 tax credits that don't exist for any new additional or replacement or whatever. So in fact, this is, in that those tax credits don't exist for those, other kinds of levies. So a passage of this renewal will ensure that the taxpayers get the 2 tax credits that exist for the property owners and for the property owners that are actually living in the properties that they have. So again, I just want to be very clear that this is not a new tax, it's a renewal of our operating levy. It was always the plan, to go forward with this, and kept the board informed of that, so. But I'm willing to answer any questions that may come of it.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Department of Job and Family Services is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 15-169 declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the benefit of the Geauga County Department of Job and Family Services and requesting certification of the county auditor of the dollar amount generated as authorized by ORC 5705.03.07.19.191.24.25 and .26.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
You're gonna put, where's it? You'll have to come
That
back
all
for
will
another
get
one,
filled in.
right, Craig?
There's-
Yeah,
has
either
to be
next, well, you're not, you're here next week, but you guys are,
There's also a spot.
yeah, I'm gonna try to come back if I can get the certification
For next
back. And just so everyone's clear, this has generally, I know it comes up, this has generally generated approximately about 2.1 million, and it's a 0.7, the additional was a 0.5, so.
Do you have to be here? The second vote has to be taken before the 15th or the 16th? What
Well,
is
the
it?
16th is
Due
the filing
before the
deadline.
16th.
Yeah, and you
So-
guys are holding session obviously next week, and then there's no session the week after that, and then there's one on, I think you guys have session on the 15th.
15th.
I'd like to prefer not to wait till the day before the filing deadline, to do that. So hopefully, the last time they certified the funds pretty quickly. I know this is a holiday week, so we'll see.
I already talked to the auditor's office, and they are aware that both of them will be delivered this afternoon, and that they plan to get the results back to me by either tomorrow or Monday at the latest.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks,
Have a
Craig.
happy holiday, everyone. See you guys.
You too now.
Good
morning.
So, there's this little sheet here. These are all linked.
Oh, that's right.
All linked in here, so you want to pass
Well, I
that
haven't
out?
gotten a tour yet.
I'm gonna just put an X there and I'll make the other guys sign it. I'll make the other guys witness my X, okay?
Hope it's not before I get another chance at it, but.
The items the first couple items we have on here, just to release funding for the OPWC project, for this year's projects, and Burton Windsor's resurfacing. That was item 10, in the amount of $244,117.36. And item 11 is to release for disbursement number 1 for OPWC in the amount of $224,054.98 for the asphalt resurfacing of Wing Road. Those are both 2 projects we completed this year.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and authorize Blake Avery, board member, chief executive officer, to execute the Ohio Public Works Commission Appendix E disbursement request form and certification number 1 in order to release funds from the state portion of our OPWC grant for the asphalt resurfacing of Burton Windsor Road, CH 14, Section 7G in Huntsburg Township, in the amount of $244,117.36. The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and authorize Blake Avery, board member, chief executive officer, to execute the Ohio Public Works Commission Appendix E disbursement request form and certification number 1 in order to release funds from the state portion of our OPWC grant for the asphalt resurfacing of Clinton Road, CH 27, sections A and B in Chardon and Winston Townships in the amount of $224,054.98.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Item number 12 is to ask Commissioner Rea to appoint him to sign the agreement with OPWC for the Clay Street resurfacing project. It was a project that we were eligible to complete this year. However, we moved it into spring of next year to complete some work on our own prior to that work being completed, and it's up to a grant amount of $288,000.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and authorize Blake Avery, board member and chief executive officer, to execute the Ohio Public Works Commission project grant agreement, local transportation improvement program for the Clay Street resurfacing in the amount of $288,000.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Yeah, item 13 here, we were asking the commissioners to approve sending up to the auditor to certify tax revenue for our ongoing road and bridge levy. It's a 2.5 mil levy, it's been around since the 80s. This is just for the first step for the auditor to certify with the revenue. It's been very productive, we've gotten a lot of work done, I think everybody realizes how good our roads are compared to anybody else. This is really the crux of it. It allows us to do what we're doing.
The county engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 15-170 declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation and requesting certification of the county auditor of the dollar amount generated at the request of the county engineer for the general construction, reconstruction, resurfacing, repair of streets, road, and bridges in Geauga County as authorized by ORC 5705.03B, 5705.19G, and 5705.25.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Joe, while you're here, I want to bring something up.
Sure.
Regarding the WAC.
Okay.
In December 11th, there's going to be a board meeting. And at that board meeting, they're going to seek to approve an urban council. That urban council is NOACA reaching out into our county around us to set up the council, and I think you've gotten the data on it.
I did last week, I
And
received
so,
the lists.
fitting with that NEOS plan, which is very concerning to me, they're looking to put together a council that will support their plan. Their urban council, they get to handpick those people who will be on their
I'm
council.
sorry, rural
Rural
council.
council, yeah, rural
Okay.
council. Well, it'll be an urban council because from my perspective, I am very concerned about that.
Yeah,
and where
when
that's
this
going,
first
so.
came up, it kind of blindsided me to some degree. I didn't even know they were doing it. And then Grace Galucci approached me at the end of a meeting. In fact, I think it was, you were there at the meeting prior to the one I was at
Right.
that morning. And it seemed that they had already picked out everybody they want on this council. I think being the most rural county of the bunch, it would make sense that we would have had some input on who would sit on this and so forth, but definitely that dialogue needs to happen.
You've actually seen names in those slots?
I believe that was put out in that last email that Skip's referring to.
It's very concerning because their history is, they set up these councils. The councils then represent the bureaucracy, not the people of the county. We represent the people of the county.
Right.
As well as township trustees and so on and so forth. But their intent is to create support, because they know we push back on a lot of their agenda, their bigger picture agenda, the strategy they have for changing our county and so on and so forth. They want to get support and be able to go back to the powers that be and say, well, we have the support of Geauga County.
Right.
And so that undermines the power of this board and of the county engineer and all those who are elected to represent people. I'm very concerned about it. So I'm going to suggest to this board that we vote no on it. It'll pass regardless, but we should have a showing that shows that we're solidified in not allowing them to undermine the authority of the elected officials in this county.
Right, I would interject that I think the idea of a rural council, some subcommittee is what it is, makes sense because they don't seem to understand the difference between Geauga County and Cuyahoga County over there. But it is, I understand your concern that they seem to have just selected them without our input, so.
Well, they're not concerned about our county. They're concerned about the greater Cleveland. Their whole language is always Cleveland and greater Cleveland.
Right.
And so, everything that they're doing seeks to pull dollars into Cleveland to accomplish their urban objectives. And so that's my big concern is they're not looking out for our interests. And anything that they do, if you look at the bicycle council, if you look at all the various councils, they've got a business council they put together. Did they come to this board to ask for any input on their business council? Not at all. They have people that they hand selected who are in their mindset to represent their interest. And so I'm very concerned. So I'm bringing that up because you will probably be at the table. And I'm hoping that if we need more information or whatever,
I'll definitely
we
look
show a
deeper
solid
into that
face
before
on
that
that.
meeting.
Yeah, I have not seen names. I know that the last document I saw, there may be one out that I missed. I believe it was 11-member council, the one that I saw.
And who was from Geauga County?
There was no names assigned to it. What I saw was what was on the meeting I was at was a breakdown of 4 people from Geauga County, which was the largest of the. We had the most representation in Geauga County, which is simple math because we've got the least representation for the urban area. So it's simple math. You take, I think we had 30% urban or something like that, which would leave us with 70% rural. And I saw 4 spots, no names. Now,
And I'd have to look it up, but I believe now that there was a link in the last email, and I think I went back into the last.
Have you seen their plan for Geauga County?
Have I seen their plan?
Their plan for Geauga County. I'll forward a copy. I think I forwarded a copy to everybody here on the board. But I don't know if I forwarded a copy to you. Grace handed me that, their plan for Geauga County in the meeting that we had. I assumed that she had handed it to the other commissioners as well. Apparently not. That was apparently something she handed to me alone. Why, I don't know. But if you look at that plan, it's very concerning. They have a plan, and it is for our county. And they weren't elected to represent our county. NOACA is a bureaucratic board. It's not an elected board. And so it's very concerning that they have a plan for our county. Their objective is to accomplish their plan. And this is one of the tools that I believe that they're going to use to achieve their plan. And unless we push back on it, fight it, get our elected officials involved, sue them, whatever the case happens to be, they will accomplish their plan.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so if you do have a copy.
I'll send it to you. I've got an email copy. I'll send it to you. So, one other thing real quick. We had a conversation in the waste management meeting
Okay.
this last Friday. 2 things happened as a result of that meeting. One, we unplugged $100,000 law enforcement monies that are given out to the counties to enforce waste management rules, laws. These are things, rules, laws that are laws, and law enforcement is supposed to enforce them regardless, but we're providing extra dollars for deputies or whatever to provide focus. It was a visible failure because they had 0 citations, and judges weren't interested in following through on that. So I'm saying that the board's edification, that has nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay.
The other thing that came out of that was, they spend $38,000 a year, I think it is. Yeah, $38,000 a year on waste management, on one-day event in Geauga County, specific to Geauga County. It's a one-day event. They spend $38,000 to put on a one-day.
Isn't it Joe's Garage, the hazardous waste?
Joe's Yard,
It's
usually.
the
isn't it?
waste management, yes.
Well,
They have
hazardous
to-
waste, that, between Geauga, Trumbull, solid waste, that's what
It's
you're
the Geauga,
Yeah, that's what he's
it's-
talking about.
Yeah, that's actually put on by, I mean, the commissioners support that as being
Right.
members of Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste. And we open up our facilities and we put guys there to help facilitate that as cooperation with your office.
Well, in the course of the conversation, it was said that for $38,000, we could probably have a year-round program rather than a one-day event. That was a lot for a one-day event.
Yeah, I
And
don't know what
so-
they spend, because that's not,
Yeah.
that
Well,
doesn't run through my budget,
so-
I don't see any of that.
So there's some discussion about that. I was elected to be the lead on that.
Okay.
And so I asked them to get me information, because all I had was the number and what they do. And so I needed to understand better what the objective was, what we're trying to accomplish and all that kind of stuff. So I may be coming to you, talking to you about maybe space
Mhm.
to still have that, and maybe space in your facility for a person, or maybe one of your.
Oh, yeah,
people or
we'll
someplace.
accommodate whatever's best for the county, absolutely. And I've never, I'm not part of the Geauga Trumbull Solid Waste, I mean, you guys are, so, I'm not exactly sure how all that flows and functions, but certainly, you know, we've seen, when we have these days, hundreds and hundreds of cars come out for it, it's very popular. And quite frankly, if I didn't help accommodate you guys, I don't know how it would work, how it would or wouldn't work. But I do know that I'd end up, my guys would be out picking this stuff up out of the ditches.
Right,
So-
that's how it would work.
So I appreciate it, and it does serve the public in more ways than one. And, but as you say, maybe have it open more often or staffed.
Well, it just mean, I mean.
Even staffed a day a week. The problem is the handling of that waste, it can't just sit around. So there's more to it, but yeah. no.
Well, outside of the, this is one of the few one of the programs that the Waste Management District handles that I don't have any objection to. Because it, as you said, people are handling caustic chemicals and they don't know what to do with them. So they dump them in a ditch, they dump them, you know, on the ground, whatever.
Or down their septic, whatever.
And so this gives people an option or an alternative on how to deal with some of these things that they're, you know, that are normal everyday household products, which are caustic and poisonous. And so, but we only have a one-day event. And so what do people do throughout the rest of the year? And it's a very costly event. It was $38,000 for one day. So as we were having the conversation.
A lot of that does have to do with all that stuff then is.
Disposal costs.
Yeah, that's what it costs to man the organization or what have you. A lot of it has to do with the disposal.
Do you have your people in there that day?
I have two of my guys in there that day, and they supply them through solid waste. I don't know how they hire them or whatever. I don't even know the specifics of it. They come in, they set up a tent so that, you know, if it's raining, they don't have water infiltrating into whatever they're handling. The dumpsters come in, usually a couple days earlier. We set up, move stuff out of the way, get it ready for them, and pretty much just help accommodate everything they need to. They usually bring in a couple of tow motors, and then we also have, obviously, the bigger equipment there if needed, for, you know, maybe it's appliance day or what have you. I have heard there's been a lot of people asking about why we've stopped doing Tire Day. That still seems to be something people want that hasn't been going on. And I don't know the answer to that, to be honest.
We actually talked about that also. Tires happen to be a big issue. It's a federal crime to burn them and to do various things. So we can talk more about the plan. They still have a payback program in which Geauga County, actually townships, each receive a stipend for handling the processing of tires and so forth. So the county is not really directly involved. It really goes through the townships.
Oh,
and
okay,
cities.
great, yeah.
And so, I actually talked to Mike Petrozzullo on Chesterland, since I live there, about that particular program. But because this touches you in terms of the solid or the hazardous waste stuff, I thought I'd just give you a heads up on it. There's gonna be some more conversation. I'll come over and talk to you about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where it's all gonna go yet,
Okay.
but we're trying to do some things to adjust some of the programs so that they made sense financially, as well as accomplish some.
Right.
And
Well,
just-
yeah, and I would say it is a very popular thing, and quite frankly, we've seen where cars are lined up all the way out on the 44, all of Merritt and Ravenwood are full, and so if people have to wait around a year for it, that's what you get, and then it's not as efficient as it could be. So if there could be even multiple half-days, would still be more efficient, I think, than everybody shows up at the same time and then sits in line.
I think it's
The
a
issue
bad-
that I have with Mr. Claypool was saying is, this is one of these, you pay me now or you pay me later situations, where we know how much it costs to provide this service, And hopefully, even though I've stood in, or sat in my vehicle in those lines in some years, it's frustrating. It accomplishes the disposal of this stuff properly. You alluded to it, it's gonna go somewhere. People aren't keeping it in their living room or their kitchen, it's gonna go someplace. And when it goes to gosh knows where, there'll be a cost assigned to that. It just won't be, it'll just come out of other funds. Your people will be out cleaning up crap out of the ditch. Someone else, the EPA will be out there, someone else. It's not like it's gonna go away because we found a more efficient way, we think, to deal with it or fund it. It's going someplace. Hopefully it's not going like, like I said, down the septic tank, down the sewer, down the whatever, but it's like my view on a lot of that. Not to say that there isn't monitoring that has to be done. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure in many of these situations. Paint, oil, all these materials that, I live on a cul-de-sac road. One time I went down there were like five-gallon cans of drain oil sitting on the edge of the cul-de-sac. I'm pretty sure that the township had to come out and get those, and then they had to dispose of it some way. And really, it said oil on, I didn't open up the, I'm hoping it was oil, could have been something else. I just think that we don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish with something like this. Because as you alluded, it is a popular program, right? There's a lot of vehicles there.
Yeah, and being centrally located, I think that works for everybody.
I don't know what you might have heard, Blake, but I wasn't talking about doing away with the program. We're talking about making it a year-round program for the cost versus a one-day program for the same cost. The other thing is people do have the option, and they are using it. This is I didn't want to get into a multifaceted conversation because the facility is open. People can take their stuff down there every Wednesday, same material, to the Parkman facility.
Summer months, right?
In the summer months, right? And people do that. So it's a utilized service that they have. People who have that kind of stuff do take it down there. I'm one that if I'm working in my garage or barn or whatever the case happens to be, I've got turpentine and all that stuff, I mix it in a common container because I know I'm gonna go recycle it anyways. I don't throw it in a ditch or whatever. And so when I build up enough and I run it over there on Wednesday, that's very inconvenient. For those people who are less responsible, they may tend to go out and dump it in the ditch or dump it wherever. And so we're giving them an opportunity to take it to a common facility. You will not get rid of it. It's like the tire situation. You will never, that there are people who will do the wrong thing regardless.
Right.
And so, anyway, I apologize for this being a long-winded
I think it's a
conversation. It was something that came up and it touches you, and I wanted to
Right,
thank you.
it's a good
over it.
conversation.
So,
And I
thanks.
do want to thank Christine for she gave us some help on the levy stuff, just pulling out some more historical stuff. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Glenn.
Morning. Morning.
We said good morning, I mean, come on.
Act like it's Monday morning.
This isn't the military. It's not Monday?
This is a performance bond. We're going from the bid bond and canceling that and going into the performance bond for the safety center. So,
The maintenance department is requesting the board accept the performance bond from Sand Landscaping for the snow plowing, salting, for clearing county parking lots area number 4 safety center for the 2015 through 2017 season and further increase the bid bond.
Make that motion. Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Aye, but explain the difference between performance bond and a bid bond.
okay, bid bond keeps their bids. They can't bail out of it. So at the last minute, if they decide to pull their bid,
they can't do it, they kind of keep someone in a performance bond, to make sure that they're doing what they're doing, and if they don't do it correctly, we can go after that performance bond and get the money out of it.
In addition to that, pay bond is usually 10% of the bond, the contract's not in a communications check. It's extra.
Almost 100%.
All right, good, thanks. Are we signing something?
All right, have a good day.
Thanks, have a good day.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.
Adrian is subbing for Jerry, so go easy on him.
And you have brand new markers in your drawer.
Good morning.
Hello, how are you all?
Good.
And how you doing? Good. This is a plot just west of the church there on Pettibone. It was previously owned by the VFW. The church bought it. They were not part of the original sewer plan, so the church bought it and they have run the sewer line down to the property. So everything's in the 208. Everything's good. So
They're gonna do some
they
kind of,
constructed
they're
the line.
building like a broadcast center there, I think, for Parkside.
I'm not exactly sure. It's
Truth for Life, it's, yeah, it's affiliated with Parkside Church, so
Yeah,
it's
so I
right
would
there on the
imagine it'd
county
be
line.
something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a different, it's not our water, wastewater treatment place, right? It's just our lines.
It's our lines, yes.
It's something.
No, it goes to
McFarland.
us.
Goes to McFarland?
Yeah, but they built the line. We didn't build the line for them. We're just accepting what they built and put in place for us, so.
That was part of the deal with the development stuff that's going on there, because they're expanding, right? They're giving up that line in return for some other stuff that's going on there relative to that development.
Of that, I am not aware, so
Yeah, that came up in our last
wasn't
meeting.
intimately involved in the project.
Didn't you get the memo? He said, take it easy on Adrian. We have to take it easy
No,
on
wait,
If
Adrian.
there are questions, I can definitely have.
We gotta
Troy
build
give you-
calluses on
Okay, have at it.
I can handle
All right, I'm good, go ahead.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute the dedication plat of sanitary sewer line easement on Root Road and Pettibone Road in Bainbridge Township, accepting the sewer line and all path ordinances.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
All right.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, no, that's not, I put brand new markers on there.
Oh, great. How are you? Good morning, Commissioners.
How you feeling, Blair?
A lot better, thanks for asking. Yeah, better every day.
Now, where did you land?
Oh, right on
Besides
my-
the ground?
Right on my tailbone.
Oh, tree stick.
Oh, not good.
They have 2 fractured vertebrae, but I'm back in the saddle.
All the way from the top, would you do your?
Yeah, about 15 feet. I was just getting down. Good morning. The reason I'm here this morning is to ask for you to approve an amendment to our governmental agreement that governs workforce for our 3-county area, which is Asheville, Portage, and Geauga counties. As you may or may not remember, we are in a transition period. The federal government passed the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014. It changes workforce from the Workforce Investment Act effective July 1, so we're now going through some of those transitionary changes. We will in fact have to rewrite completely the agreement, but our grantor, who we have a grant with, is the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services. They are requiring that we change our board as soon as possible, and that is why I'm here before you today, asking for this amendment. What the amendment does is there's an Appendix A to our current governing agreement. That appendix dictates the members of the Workforce Investment Board, now is going to be called the Workforce Development Board. This is going to change the slots for each of the 3 counties, and I don't know if you were provided with a memo. I have memos for you all.
Yeah, I was sent it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but I brought extras just in case. If you turn to the last page of the handout, this is the Exhibit A. This is the change to the governing agreement.
and it sets forth that we would have a 33-person board. Geauga's representatives are indicated there in the left-hand column. There would be 6 business community representatives that Geauga would appoint, 1 individual from a joint apprenticeship program. This is a new category that we're changing. 1 individual from a community-based organization, 1 representative in economic development, and 1 representative from either transportation, housing, public assistance, or a philanthropic organization. So this is the first in many steps that we're going to have to make with respect to becoming in compliance with the new federal act. Like I said, we will come back and ask you to take additional steps, including the appointment of the individuals, but this is this very first step, which is just changing the governing agreement, and then we'll be back very soon to ask you to consider who on the current board you would like to consider reappointing to the new board, and then ask you to go through the process of appointing the vacant slots as well. So, any questions? Just so you know, this particular Exhibit A was vetted through the NOCCOG, the Council of Governments, where each county has a commissioner on it. We had 2 separate meetings on this particular issue and had the input as well from the County Departments of Job and Family Services, and this is the amendment that they'd like to see. So,
I don't have a question so much as a comment. I'd like to have you comment on this, because
Sure.
I was at the last meeting that we had, and by the way, you do a great job.
oh, thank you.
Unfortunately, you have to deal with a crappy program. So we've got 33 board members. In the course of the conversation we had about these 33 board members, 10 from each of the counties, there was a discussion about, well, these are volunteers. How many people are really going to show up and actually get an interest? Because this is not a paid position. This is a volunteer position.
Correct.
And so we got the government, federal government, has decided in their wisdom, because they do such a good job at everything that they do, that they're going to take 33 volunteers and expect them to show up on a regular basis to make hard decisions in terms of how this money is handed out and so on and so forth. And the sentiment, at least that I heard at that time, was, not a good way to approach this. And so, but it's the federal government's approach to solving this. So do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I would say that I'm surprised at how well we do in attendance. Our board was about this size last time. And yes, there's been occasions where we've had smaller numbers than we'd like, but generally, I'd say our attendance is at least 2/3 of the sitting members. Of course, the government has made it even tougher, because now for business community representatives, they want to see CEO and CFO level individuals sit on the board if at all possible, and if not
There's
them.
spare
They got nothing else to do.
Right.
Run a company.
Right. And I agree, that's going to be a challenge to find those. I guess the only good news is, and it's the pitch that we go out when we ask individuals to sit, is that our meetings are quarterly, 4 times a year, and we never ask for money. So those usually 2 things are what tips the tide in getting individuals to serve. So
Well, thank you. And thank you for the job you do, because you do.
it's my pleasure to serve with this county and
With
the
a
others.
program that I couldn't object to more, you do a great job.
Well, we have great staff, including the ones in Geauga County that work in the service this program. So thank you, it's my pleasure.
Do them together. That's 16 and this is 17. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute resolution number 15-171, approving the First Amendment to an existing intergovernmental agreement of the Northeast Ohio Consortium Council of Governments, NOCCOG, intergovernmental agreement established on July 1st, 2013. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the governing agreement for the Northeast Ohio Consortium Council of Governments amended.
I'll make those motions.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
All right. And by the way, if anybody is wondering, these are not optional. So the federal government says you shall. So it is the federal government usurping the sovereignty of the state and this county. And I object to this for that reason.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Have a nice holiday.
You too.
Stay out of the tree stand.
I will.
Or stay on them.
Yeah.
This,
sign the
this
sign-
agreement.
No, they you each have your own signature page, we'll get copies of the rest of them. Today is the 24th.
See how well this writes?
I think you got any corrections?
Not yet. So I'm on my last cartridge. See if we can find it right. It's the only downside. 24th of November already. My God. It was like just the first of the year yesterday.
Yes, it's the second one.
How come there's two pages?
Because the second page, that number 12, that I need you to sign has the actual amendment on it.
Chief, here yet?
It's just like home, Skip.
Dan, I
You
just-
do what the lady says.
Almost got pages for you.
I always do.
Yesterday I saw 3, today I saw 3, I'm like, okay.
Oh, deer?
Huh?
Oh, the deer in my neighborhood
I don't
disappeared.
see them, I just see all the footprints across the driveway every,
We haven't heard it goes through the backyard, but
there's some apple trees over on the one side of my yard, and they, I don't think there's much left in the way of apples, but apparently they're creatures of habit. They go over there and root around under the tree.
Mhm.
And I just see, I don't know, there must be a fair number. A lot of footprints.
When I was out in Arizona, I saw a couple of their puppy dogs they call deer, these little itty bitty deer.
Really?
They have half a dozen varieties apparently. And javelins, little pigs. I call them pigs, they're not really a pig. They're just other wildlife.
Snakes.
Everything out in the desert is meant to stick you, bite you, somehow get you. I was with a tour guide that said, don't touch that cactus, so of course I had to touch it.
you were a little kid that tell you not to do something, you do it.
He said, then you don't want to try to shake it off because it might fly off and stick somebody else. It ain't did.
So you've been banned from that tour now?
Yeah. The rest of the people in the group are. There was an edible, have you ever heard of the jumping cactus? It's got a little white, like a fruit on it, and it's just piles of them on there. With the stickers on them are barbed, and so if they go in, they have a heck of a time getting them out. Well, they're also edible, and so you can burn the outside spines off and then cut them open. It's like a bland tasting kiwi fruit. So, if you're starving to death or lacking for water in the desert, you can always go to the jump. So I think that's it, right?
That's it.
Okay. Can we get a motion to adjourn? Another fun day.